September 14th, 2016. A private jet takes off from Nice, France, heading to Los Angeles. On board is the most famous couple in the world, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, along with their 6 children. To the outside world, they were Brangelina, the gold standard of Hollywood royalty, the couple that had everything. But by the time the plane touched down in California, the fairy tale was dead. The world was stunned when, just 5 days later, Angelina filed for divorce, citing the health of the family. For years, we only heard whispers and rumors of what really happened at 30,000 feet. We saw the sudden split, the bitter custody battles that have lasted nearly a decade, and the shocking distance that grew between Brad and his children. But now, leaked FBI documents have finally pulled back the curtain on those fateful hours. Today, we dive into the dark truth of that flight, the incident that destroyed a family, and how it finally answered a question Jennifer Aniston fans had been asking for over a decade. Was this the ultimate price for a love built on betrayal? Was this, as some say, the ultimate karma? To understand why that flight felt like a turning point for the entire world, we have to look back at where it all began. In the year 2000, the world belonged to Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston. Their wedding in Malibu was more than just a ceremony. It was a global event. A $1 million celebration with 50,000 flowers, 4 bands, a choir, and a fireworks display that could be seen for miles along the Pacific coast. They were the it couple of the millennium. Jennifer was America's sweetheart, the star of the biggest show on television, and Brad was her Prince Charming. They bought a $20 million mansion, they talked openly about starting a family, and they seemed absolutely untouchable. Fans saw them as the perfect example of true love in Hollywood. But in 2004, the wind changed. Brad signed on to film Mr. and Mrs. Smith, an action movie that would change history. Rumors from the set began to leak, whispers of a chemistry between Brad and his co-star, Angelina Jolie, that was too intense to be just acting. The world watched in real time as the perfect marriage crumbled, and Jennifer was left to pick up the pieces of a broken heart in front of the entire world. While Jennifer Aniston was forced to heal in the harsh light of the paparazzi, Brad and Angelina became a global phenomenon. They didn't just replace the old couple, they created an empire. They were everywhere, from the red carpets of Cannes to refugee camps in Africa and Cambodia. They built a family that looked like a United Nations of love. They adopted Pax and Zahara, adding to Maddox, and then welcomed their biological children, Shiloh and the twins. For over a decade, it seemed that Brad had found a deeper purpose. He was no longer just a movie star. He was a father, an architect of a massive, unconventional life. They bought Chateau Miraval, a stunning $500 million winery in the south of France. It was their sanctuary, the place where they finally said "I do" in 2014. But behind the beautiful photos and the humanitarian work, the pressure was mounting. The Brangelina bubble was becoming a golden cage, and Brad's reported struggles with alcohol were starting to push the walls inward. The final collapse happened on that private jet during those 10 long hours over the Atlantic. According to the detailed FBI reports, Brad had been drinking heavily. What started as a disagreement between husband and wife quickly turned into a nightmare for the 6 children on board. Angelina told investigators that Brad led her to the back of the plane, grabbed her by the shoulders, and shook her while yelling, "You're ruining this family." At one point, he allegedly punched the ceiling of the plane several times. The children were terrified, watching from their seats. When one of the kids courageously asked, "Are you okay, Mommy?" Brad reportedly screamed, "No, she's not okay. She's ruining this family. She's crazy." This is when the most famous part of the incident occurred. Their eldest son, Maddox, stood up to protect his mother. The report states that Brad lunged at the teenager, and Angelina had to physically restrain him to prevent an assault. For the rest of the flight, the family sat in a heavy, traumatized silence. As soon as the plane landed, Angelina made a decision that shocked the world. She took the kids to a hotel and filed for divorce 5 days later. The dream was officially over. The fallout from that flight has lasted nearly a decade, but the deepest wounds aren't found in a courtroom. They're found in the names of his children. For years, Brad Pitt was seen as the ultimate family man, the hero father of 6. But today, That image has been completely shattered. As each child reaches adulthood, they are making a heartbreaking choice that seems to be a direct response to what happened on that private jet. The most shocking blow came from Shiloh, Brad's first biological daughter, whom the public has watched grow up since the day she was born. For years, fans saw Shiloh as the perfect mix of both her parents. But on her 18th birthday, Shiloh didn't celebrate with a typical party. Instead, she took a cold legal step that felt like a final goodbye. She filed a formal petition in a Los Angeles court to officially and permanently drop Pitt from her last name. This wasn't just a daughter using a nickname. It was a young woman, hiring her own lawyer and paying for the legal filing herself to distance herself from her father's legacy. Sources close to Brad say he was devastated, aware that he was losing the bond he cherished most. He was reportedly heartbroken that the child he was once so close to now wanted nothing to do with his name. But Shiloh wasn't the first to send this message. We saw Zahara, during her college sorority introduction, proudly call herself Zahara Marley Jolie, pointedly leaving out the name Pitt. We saw Vivian, the youngest daughter, do the same in the credits of the Broadway play she worked on with her mother. And who could forget the scathing social media post from his son, Pax, who reportedly called his father a world-class jerk and a despicable person who made his children tremble in fear. For the fans who have followed Brad since his days with Jennifer Aniston, this feels like the ultimate tragic reckoning. They remember the quiet dignity Jennifer showed in 2005 when she lost her husband, and they wonder if the chaos that began on that flight in 2016 was the beginning of the end for Brad's role as a father. He is now a man with immense wealth and global fame, but he is increasingly a stranger to the 6 people he once called his world. It leaves us to wonder, is this the true cost of a fairy tale built on a broken foundation? But in the midst of all this darkness and legal battles, something miraculous happened in January 2020. It was the night of the SAG Awards. For 15 years, the world had waited to see Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston in the same room. We wanted to know, had the wounds finally healed? When the cameras caught them backstage, the world stopped. There was no bitterness, no anger, just 2 people who had shared a lifetime of memories, smiling at each other. The photo of Brad gently holding Jennifer's wrist as she walked away became the most talked about image in years. Body language experts analyzed every inch of that photo. They saw a man who looked regretful and a woman who had finally found peace. This moment felt like a victory for Jennifer. She didn't need Brad back. She had already built a magnificent life on her own. She proved that you can survive a public betrayal and come out stronger, more beautiful, and more successful than ever. For many women watching, Jennifer became a symbol of hope. She showed that your happily ever after doesn't have to depend on a man. Meanwhile, Brad has spent the last few years in deep reflection. He admitted to his struggles with alcohol, saying he used it as an escape. He turned to art and sculpting to process his pain. Many ask, is he a villain, or is he just a human being who made a massive mistake and lost everything that mattered? The contrast is striking. On one side, we see the total collapse of his life with Angelina, the lawsuits, the estranged children, the public accusations. On the other side, we see the quiet, respectful friendship he has rebuilt with Jennifer. It's almost as if life has come full circle. As we look at these 3 icons today, we see 3 very different paths. Angelina, the protective mother, focused on her children and her justice. Brad, the man trying to outrun his past. And Jennifer, the woman who chose forgiveness over bitterness. This story teaches us that in Hollywood, as in life, time eventually reveals the truth. It shows us that you cannot build a permanent home on someone else's heartbreak. So now, I turn the question to you. After hearing the full story of that flight and the years of silence that followed, do you believe in karma? Do you think Brad and Jennifer were always the soulmates who got lost? Or is their new friendship the best ending we could have hoped for? If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Your support helps me bring more of these untold stories to light. Thank you for spending this time with me today.